In this edition of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, we catch up with the one and only Andrew Whitworth. 16 years in the National Football League, 4 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. This guy is Hall of Fame worthy. He played the left tackle position for so many years and played it at such a high level. And not only on the football field, he's such a huge factor for the Bengals organization for 11 years, for the Rams organization for 5 years off the football field, in the community, just a true leader of men. We'll talk to him about a lot of things. His time with the Bengals, his time with the Rams, the Super Bowl, what he's going to do in his life after football. A guy like him has options aplenty. We'll talk about all of that. I think you'd enjoy it. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And boy, do we have a very special guest today. None other than number 77 himself, Big Whit, Andrew Whitworth. What a football career. And he's here to talk to us all about it here on our little podcast video cast today. So, Big Whit, first of all, congratulations, man. I mean, you not only a great football player, but just an even more unbelievable human being. And boy, did you have a great run, my man.
Hey, I appreciate it, Lap. I'm happy to be here with you. And yeah, it's been a great run, that's for sure. You look back over the 16 years, a lot of great memories, a lot of things I'll never forget. Just awesome opportunities with, teams and teammates and coaches and really everybody that just makes up what goes in an NFL organization. And it's been a lot of fun, that's for sure.
I mean, this final year, it's almost like a made-for-TV or made-for-movie. I think producers are going to be reaching out to you because, I mean, what a way to end your career. You get the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which is well-deserved. You could have gotten it in multiple years, and you get it this year, your final year on the football field. You win the Super Bowl against a team you had played that had drafted you and you played with for 11 years. You're playing against them to win the Super Bowl. You're the first offensive tackle to play in a game, age 40. I mean, it's just an unbelievable conclusion to an incredible career, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, when you look back over it, I think it's one of those things that may take me a year or two just to get away from it enough to even look back and think of all the things that had to happen to even be in that moment. It's pretty wild. And as I said, really going into that week and leading up to the game, I mean, it's I kind of knew this was going to be my last game, and I kind of knew this is my last opportunity to play football. And what a special way to be able to do it. 2 organizations that you've poured your heart and soul into, that you really feel like you've had a big part of who they are and really their future. And, I think to have that kind of feeling going into your last game of, wow, I mean, I never could have dreamed of a scenario where 2 places that mean so much to me were playing against each other and also for the best prize in the world. So it was an unbelievable ride and an unbelievable experience that week. It really was. And I can't wait to get a little further away from it so I can just kind of sit back, relax, and think about just that week.
2 Super Bowl appearances. The first one didn't go the way you wanted it to, but the second one did. What did you learn from the first Super Bowl appearance that helped you in the second one, do you think?
I think really how that game ended. I mean, you look at it when we played New England and after the 2018 season, it was a really tight game and only really came down to a critical situation here or there at the very end, where you look at it, we're driving the football field down the football field late in the game against them with a chance to go get the momentum of the game and get a critical holding call that ends up being something that kind of slows down our drive. And then the next possession, they get the ball back after that, and they score and make it a 10-3 game. And that really gave them that separation there. And I think, you look at it, I thought we went in that year and we really thought, man, just with how good we were throughout the year, we thought we were just going to walk in there and be the better team and win. And that's just, in Super Bowls, it's just not like that. I mean, it's very rare do you really truly get those kind of situations. You got to stay emotionally and physically and mentally involved in the game all the way through, because there's going to be one drive, one moment, a matter of 10 minutes, and the entire game's going to flip. And you got to be prepared to be able to execute in that moment. And I thought that's really what we lost out at in that game. We got more worried about, well, it's frustrating that the Patriots are stopping us and we're not scoring. And we got flustered by that instead of thinking about, all right, what do we have to do to just win the game? That's it. And I thought in this game, it was like we lose Odell, we lose a bunch of guys on offense. We end up having our third tight end in the game, guy who hadn't played all year long, and Bryson Hopkins. And it's like, instead of getting frustrated, we just kept telling ourselves, all right, the defense is playing great, just one more chance. And if we just take advantage of that one more op, we'll have a chance to win this game.
Back to the made for movie life of Andrew Whitworth. I could see it, football life, Andrew Whitworth. And then it starts with Monroe High School, West Monroe, 3 state championships you led that football team to. You go to LSU, you play 3,500 snaps at LSU. You guys win a ton of football games. You come to the Cincinnati Bengals, and you're a perennial playoff team. 5 straight years, go to the playoffs and winning football teams. Go to the Rams and go to a couple of Super Bowls and win one of them. I mean, man, your winning percentage has to be as good as any guy. You take high school, college, and NFL career, your winning percentage has to be about as good as in the history of the game, man. It's crazy.
It is. I actually gave Sean some crap yesterday for my press conference because we were looking it up, and I think in NFL history, I've won the most games of any lineman in NFL history other than one guy, and it's
Really?
Jeff Saturday.
Huh.
He won one game more than me. So I was giving him crap about 2017 when we clinched the playoffs. They sat all the starters and we didn't play, and we ended up losing the game at the very end. So I was just telling him, hey man, look, you cost me this one. Of course, he told me if I'd have just been healthy for one more game this past season, I'd have beat it too. So, everybody's got fault in this. But yeah, it's unbelievable, man. You really look at it. I went 58-2 in high school in the 4 years I was in high school.
Wow.
Won a state championship, and in the polls and stuff, got rated as a national championship team by some different polls. And then go to LSU, and I think we won 40 plus games during that time. We were actually the winningest class by the time we got done.
Yeah.
And that's of course been broke since then. And won a national championship with Nick Saban in 2003, and then to come to the NFL, win 153 games. It's just it's really cool. I mean, you think about when you start adding those things up and looking at it, you won over 250 games in sports in your high school, college, and NFL career. It's pretty rare to be able to, 1, win at every level, but 2, to really put together that many wins.
And to win a mythical national championship in high school, but to win one in college and win one in the National Football League. I mean, at every level, you're on that kind of football team. That's just unbelievable, and there's tangibles that players have, and then the intangibles that I think, separate the great ones from guys that are, excellent players. The reliability, the durability, the availability, responsibility, all of those kind of abilities, man, you're off the charts with all those kind of intangibles. And I think that's a big reason why you're such a winner. You were on, you're a big factor on a lot of these football teams in terms of, leading these guys, being a leader of men, and showing them how to take care of themselves, take care of their bodies, eat right, nutrition, training, weight training, all those things that you provided were invaluable, man.
Yeah, I mean, you really look at great teams, successful teams out there. I know from in my experience, the couple of really good ones I've been on and some of the success we've had winning, you almost feel like you have a little bit of a tone setter or leader at every position that year. It's like you all of a sudden kind of get a role where you're like, man, every room we have, there's a guy in there that kind of sets the tone or is the example. And in some rooms, they're really special and they kind of filter into other positions on their side of the ball. And I think that's no different when you're looking at trying to chase success, is that finding those leaders, finding those guys that really change the dynamic of what everybody's chasing. I think there's a lot of, in sports, I'd say a lot of want to, but will to may not be always there. And so a lot of guys might say they want to do something, but how much will are they actually wanting to put into it? I will do everything it takes to do it. And you look at it like, even on our team, I thought it was really special. We acquired Von Miller halfway through the season. Know Von off the field, didn't really know him as a teammate, and to get him in our locker room and just that energy he brought. And then when we get to Super Bowl time, or not even Super Bowl time, we make the playoffs. He brings his replica trophy from winning the Super Bowl with the Broncos, sets it in our locker room, and every week he'd like write a note underneath it of like, what would you always said you would want this opportunity?
Wow.
What would you be willing to do?
Mm.
How many odds would you be willing to overcome this week? And so every week he'd have a new little mantra he'd write under it. And I thought it was really special just to have that kind of leadership and see, that when you got those kind of guys in your locker room, you feel really good about having the chance to be successful.
Yeah, man, there's no question about that. What was when did you guys realize that, man, we might have something special going on here this year? Was there a turning point or something that you can point to game wise, or a play or anything that that you said, boy, this may turn out to be something special?
Yeah, I really thought, for us, it was, you really look at our time here, since Sean and I got here in 17. I mean, I think we've won 55 regular season games or something like that. It's in 5 years. So averaging 11 wins a season. So it's one of those things that we always felt we were competitive. We always thought, we're going to be one of the best teams just by our culture, the way we compete, the way we do things and attack the process. And we feel like that's going to happen. But then you start getting like, all right, we're adding some guys, whether it be Odell, Vaughn, all this stuff this season. We also were having some significant injuries. You're losing a Robert Woods, who's been the backbone of our team the last few years. And you start having some guys go down, and you start realizing, oh man, how are we going to put this together? And I thought really that 3-game losing streak we had in the middle of the season was the best thing that ever happened to us, because it was like, all right, you got a lot of talent. You got a really good football team, but are you playing really good complementary football? Like, are you playing, what does it take for us to win this game? Not, hey, how do we have the best statistical games possible? How do we win the game? And I thought that really when we left Green Bay and said, all right, Jacksonville's coming to us this week. We got an opportunity to right the ship against these guys, but we don't want to just beat them. What's the best way to play complementary football? And you really look at it. That was the first time we went away from 11 personnel, started playing some 12, some 13, just pounding the football a little bit, let the defense eat a little, and just, hey, man, what does it take for us to beat them? Like, that's all we need to do. And I thought that we started just taking that kind of approach every week. What is the exact game plan that wins this game? Not how do we win 50-2, and it was how do we win football? And I thought that change in our season, you look at our streak from that on, I mean, our only loss was an overtime, unbelievable play by the 49ers to get back in the game and take us to overtime and find a way to win it. And that was really the only time we really stepped on ourselves in that point in the season.
Yeah, well, you guys peaked at the right time. You're playing your best football at the right time of the season. There's no doubt about it. You had 2 weeks to prepare for the Bengals for the Super Bowl and watch the Bengals defense, on video and meet with coaches and dissect this Cincinnati Bengals defensive football team, personnel, schematics, and all that. What did you come away with? I mean, what's your feeling about the Cincinnati Bengals defensive football team?
I really watched the last couple of years just as they kept adding guys and what I thought was guys that really came from teams and situations where they're winning or at least competing. And I thought that was really going to be something crucial for them. And man, did it show up. I mean, you look at that team and that defense and how well they played together. I thought it was really unique that, a lot of times when you look at the Rams defense, there's a lot of big time guys. I mean, whether it be Vaughn or AD or Jalen, kind of just stick out. They're going to have the whole defense plays great, but they're going to have some really special plays at some point. Those guys, I thought with Cincinnati, you really noticed. I don't know if there's a splash guy. I mean, I guess Trey Hendrickson's probably your best one just because he was such a great pass rusher all season. But just the all in totality, everybody's doing their job. Everybody's where they need to be. They're executing the defense, forcing you to do exactly what they need you to do for them to stop you. I thought it was really impressive to watch how much of that you really saw. I mean, they understand concepts that you're trying to attack them with. They understand everything in front of them. And you really felt like you had to play your A game to just execute at your best to win. And that's why I thought it was really tough for us in the game when we start losing guys that were going to be really crucial to us to be able to have success, because we kind of knew how they play Cooper. we kind of knew how they, try to take away the things we'd done
Right.
with Zac having a history with us. So we needed those other guys that we had planned to use a lot in the game plan. And so that's when we knew that it was going to be a war once we'd lost those guys.
What was it like with Sean and his relationship with Zac, and knowing, what Zac might understand, that what you guys might be doing and vice versa? I mean, is that overrated, I guess, first of all? And was it any kind of a factor in preparation? And what's your take on the job that Zac Taylor did this past season for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I thought really, to me, I don't want to say it's overrated. I mean, I think for us, probably not as much because we play such similar teams. Like, you look in Seattle, our former quarterback coach and coordinator is the OC in Seattle now. So we're playing similar systems as ours. You look in San Francisco, they do it with different personnels, but we really run very similar systems.
Right.
Other than they just have a little bit more emphasis on running the football than us. And I think you look at Green Bay with LaFleur, and so we've kind of gotten to where we're facing a lot of teams that are running similar systems to Sean all the time. And so I didn't think that was as big a factor to us, because I think that even though you have similar systems, like once you're in the game, you're playing football. And so they're going to attack your weaknesses and you're going to attack theirs. And it's really more about the respect that, Zac Taylor and his crew are going to play really good, efficient football. And we're going to be trying to do the same thing. And who can do it the best. And that's really what it comes down to. More than it helping you or familiarity, it's like we know they're going to play really good, sound football, and we're going to have to do it too. And it's going to be whoever can execute it the best. And I thought with Zac, man, it's been tremendous. I mean, I was texting with him all season long. As soon as they won the division, shot him a text, and then also just throughout the year, different things. But with him and Joe, and it's I couldn't be more proud for those guys and the great job that Zac's done. And man, I hope that he continues to keep attacking, because they got a heck of a football team, and I know they will. I mean, they're going to be really special for years to come.
Fellow alum Joe Burrow out of LSU. How big is the Joe Burrow factor in free agency? The Bengals, early in free agency, score a couple of offensive linemen. They really needed to beef up the O-line, and they addressed that issue immediately. And I think in both cases, I mean, both guys played with Tom Brady. One played with him in New England, one played with him in Tampa Bay. And I think really, it's like, man, this is a young Joe. I'm not going to say he's Tom Brady, but Joe Burrow's a young Tom Brady-like type of guy. How big a factor do you think that is in free agency decision-making?
I think it's huge, because you look at it, guys want to play where they think they have a chance to be successful. I think the money right now is changing and continuing to grow. So guys are going to make money no matter where they play.
Right.
But I think you're looking for an opportunity to get a contract you feel good about. But most importantly, you're looking for an opportunity to win and have success, because when you win, there's a whole lot more likelihood you're going to see that contract out. So I think that it's one of those things you got to focus on when you're signing the deals, not just the year in, year out money, but if it's not guaranteed, are you at a place where you're going to have success? Because if you're not, then you know what? They're going to be moving different directions and trying to make other pieces of the pie work. So I think finding a place you can be successful is a big factor. And Joe Burrow being as special as he's been in his career in this short time, I don't see why guys wouldn't be running to have an opportunity that, hey, if there's somewhere I want to go play, he's one of the young quarterbacks I'm looking at and saying, how do I get on the field with this guy and give myself a chance to go attack success?
Whit, you've got a beautiful family, wife Melissa, 4 children. You've got Sarah and Drew, Michael and Catherine, 2 boys, 2 girls. I mean, it's the ideal family. Are you going to stay in LA? Obviously you're still going to spend time in Louisiana. I mean, that's where your roots are, but are you going to live in LA, or what are your thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, I think we're staying here. We we've gotten a great family over the last 5 years, kind of, hit that age where the kids are growing up, making friends.
Right.
And they're so connected in this community and all that, we would probably be in for quite some trouble if we want to try to get them out of here right now, because they've got a lot of best buddies. So, it's great. We've enjoyed it. It's been an awesome community for us living out here in Westlake Village. And so we really do. We love it. We don't plan on going anywhere. And also there's just a lot of opportunities here for me if I want to be involved in football one way or another. And so we look forward to those things and just raising our family here and enjoying our time.
That leads me to an obvious question. Your chapter on the field in the Football Life, Andrew Whitworth, that made for TV little episode. All right, so now that part's closed, but you have, like you said, can't wait for the next chapter, and a guy like you, a myriad. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunity, all kinds of options, I would think. And you said something about you look forward to being involved in the game in a whole new way. What kind of things you might be thinking about, or can you divulge a little bit, big fella?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just there'll be some opportunities for me to be involved. Whether it be sticking around with the Rams in some way, whether it be possibly having a chance to get involved in TV or media or something.
Yep.
So it's really exploring those options, seeing what's the way that I think for me that I feel like I'm going to get the most passion out of it and really want to be successful at. And I think it's just kind of chasing a little bit of how you get involved and what's the new way that you're not a player anymore, but how can you pour yourself into the game? Because I think for us, that's the only option we want. We want to be involved in football one way or another. And so is it supporting teammates and just being a fan for teams, or is it finding ways to be more involved? And so I think for us, there's the cool thing that's an amazing blessing is there's all kinds of opportunity, whether it be in the NFL, working in that capacity, or finding something in media to do. So it's going to be one of those things that may be a tough decision at some point to make, but we're really happy and just feel blessed to have a lot of opportunity to make that decision. And we want to make sure we make one that's something that we can be passionate about and that I'll feel good about. That's what I want to do next.
What if somebody came recruiting Andrew Whitworth to be a coach? You'd be a hell of a coach, but I mean that life is a different animal. What would Melissa and the kids think if you wanted to pursue the coaching aspect of it?
I think Melissa would be fine with it. I think right up until she realized how much time it actually takes.
Right.
That's the thing. A lot of players don't understand how much more commitment. Physically you're not committing more, but mentally and your time and just the drain of stress it is to not be involved, but to be involved. I mean, you're trying to make it all happen, but you're not the one that actually gets to get out there and make the plays. So there's a lot more stress from that capacity of not having a lot of control, but having enough to put people in position to be successful. And so I think there's a lot of hours in that, and it's a lot of time. And so I just, for me right now, I don't see it. I wouldn't ever say it's never going to happen just because I love mentoring and coaching and being a part of guys throughout my career. I felt like I kind of did both while I played. And so I'm never going to say I wouldn't do that. I'll put it that way.
Right. What about the charitable, the foundation stuff? I mean, you win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. You're obviously a huge give back guy. I mean, you're a community guy all the way. You set a heck of an example. You set a high bar in that regard. Is that going to continue? Obviously.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things we're already trying to do. Obviously, when you win Walter Payton Man of the Year, there's this a substantial contribution that's made for that too. So we've got some cool opportunities and some things we can do here in LA, and I think we'll continue to keep finding partners and people that want to be a part of those things and finding different ways we can try to move the needle and make a difference. And for me, it's always community service has always been more about finding where people are and me going and meeting them there than me doing stuff that I want to do. So
Right.
I want to look in the community and see what the needs are and see where people need me to find them and go do that, search it out and get involved. So that'll be something to our family, and my wife, Melissa, and I will always be important to us. And I think that will be a big part of our future for sure.
Wait, you gotta tell the story about you're playing the Lions and this linebacker's just like staring at you. You're in the huddle and it's like, what's this guy staring at? I think it was the Lions, and it ended up being a kid that you had influenced and impacted his life. Cincinnati kid. Tell us that story. That's a great story.
Yeah, I was playing in the Detroit Lions against the Detroit Lions earlier this season, and I noticed he kept looking at me. And then when the game ended and everybody's heading to the field to kind of dab it up and say hello to everybody, I noticed him run literally from their sideline directly at me. So I was just kind of nervous about who it was. I didn't know if it was somebody that went to LSU and I just didn't recognize them, or
Right.
now at this point I played long enough. Is this like a brother or a son of a player or a coach? And because I knew he was young. And he kind of came up to me and immediately was just like, "Hey, man, you're not going to know who I am. So just, relax." I think he could kind of tell I was trying to figure out who it was. And he was just like, "Relax, man." He's like, I wanted to come say hey to you because you played a big part in my life. Like, you don't know this, but when I was a little kid, you used to come to the Boys and Girls Club in Covington, Kentucky,
Hmm.
and spend time with me. Like, we used to hang out on the sidewalk. We used to play, like, throw the football, and you talked to me about life and stuff. And I wanted you to know that, like, I made it to the NFL. Like, I'm here.
It's great.
Just blew me away. Like, I literally told guys in the locker room later, I was like, I almost kind of blacked out in the sense of, like, it shocked me so much to even try and go back to 14, 15 years ago in my career, that I don't really even remember what I said to him. So it was interesting. Like, I ended up trying to reach out to the media the next day through our media team to get a hold of him, but we ended up talking. So yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, you think about it, like, you were, rookie, second year in the NFL, just Tuesdays, finding something to do in the community, and ends up being something where you're spending time with someone that ends up making a lasting impact to them and something they obviously remember the rest of their life, that helped them get to where they think helped them get to where they are. And so I think that, very humbling and honoring, and really cool. And I even actually text Katie Blackburn after she had sent me a thank you for, or congratulations about the Walter Payton deal or something. And I just said, "Hey, listen, like, that's a commitment to you too." I mean, the Bengals were committed to being a part of the Boys and Girls Club, and I know that was a big passion of hers. And so we used to do like a little pump, pass, and kick deal there with the Boys and Girls Club. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, we never, all of us are a part of that. Everyone makes those decisions, and what do you know? Like, this one little relationship, how special it ended up being."
Well, that stuff's priceless. It really is. I mean, that's amazing. And multiply that by who knows what number, Wit. I mean, that's just one example of a young man whose life that you had a major impact on. That's the thing. The role model stuff. It's like you can't dismiss it because whether you want to be or not, you are. I
Yeah,
mean,
kids are watching, whether you want them to be or not. I mean, I deal with
yep,
that with 4 kids myself all the time, especially now, 11, 11, 10, and 7. They're listening to a lot more than I think they are, and
yep,
so it's interesting, and to me, I think that's the really cool thing. It also kind of puts things in perspective of, how many times maybe in your life somebody's touched you or done something to you, or kind of said something to you that maybe helped you get to where you are. And it made me kind of think to myself, like, how many times have I made sure I reached out to those people and said thank you, or thank the people who daily help me, be who I am. I think that, it's something that both ways, like, keep investing in people around you, and keep making sure you're available to do that, but also make sure you're saying thank you, and giving a love back to all those people that have helped you stand exactly where you are, and be in the seat you're in.
well, I guess obvious follow-up question to that is there a guy or two that you'd like to make mention of that had an impact on you? I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch. A guy like yourself that, played high school, college, and 16 years of professional football. There's probably a myriad, a whole host of them. But is there anybody that had a very big impact on you in the formative years, kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at it, that list would be insanely long, but if I really looked at just probably my NFL career, I know obviously, a guy I played with, and Willie Anderson, and Levi Jones, and Rich Bram, and some of the vets that were there at that time were
Yep.
obviously huge and instrumental to me in my career, of what I saw, like, good offensive line play had to be, and what it took every day to really have that kind of work ethic. And then I look at, from a leadership standpoint, even though things didn't, end on fantastic terms with us, just the way things ended there. But I think Carson Palmer was a tremendous leader, and a guy that I took a lot of what I learned about how to lead guys, and kind of just be there with guys, and be a part of their, journey in life. I took a lot of things from him. And then obviously in the community way, Anthony Munoz was just always the rock of just how he did things and how involved he was,
Right.
with youth and stuff. I mean, it was really cool for me to, like, I can remember me and him going to breakfast, like a first watch or something. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, I'm sitting across from, like, the greatest left tackle of all time. And he's, telling me a little bit about his foundation and story. And it gave me a little bit of something, I guess, to chase. It was like, hey, yeah, maybe I'll never be Anthony Munoz as a player, or maybe I'll never be Anthony Munoz off the football field, but you know what, can I chase that a little bit? Can I chase like, hey, that's almost like a challenge. Can I make a difference? Can I find a way to find my path and the way I want to make a difference in the community? So I thought it was really special for me to really look back at a lot of the people that, you know, I think had a little touch on me in my early career there in Cincinnati.
Well, man, that chase led you right to the finish line, man. You crossed the finish line in terms of, you know, what you've done in your life to this point. And I know you're going to do a lot of great things in the next couple of chapters too, Whit. You know, I mean, as I said, not only a great football player, but you name it. You name a husband, father, son, friend. I mean, Andrew Whitworth is top shelf, man, in all categories. And we certainly do appreciate what you've done, what you did for the city of Cincinnati, both on and off the football field, and what you've done out in Los Angeles, both on and off the football field, and what you'll be continuing doing in a lot of places on and off the football field. You are one of a kind, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it, Lap, man. You're always great, dude. I appreciate you all those years in Cincinnati too, and always keeping up with me, man. So it's been a heck of a run, and I can't wait to enjoy a little bit of just getting to be a supporter and a fan of guys who play, and just continue to be kind of an ear, somebody can listen to them and help them in the things they go through. And of course, I can't wait to get my first visit back to Cincinnati and hug some necks and thank some people that have been part of my journey.
There you go. I bet when you go to school to pick your kids up, the other kids and parents are like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe Andrew Whitworth's here?" you must kind of raise a lot of eyebrows when you're making the daddy rounds that way, huh, my man?
Yeah, it's been different, that's for sure. The last month and a half or a month or so has been wild. That's for sure. It's a constant thing where you get reminded daily of how cool and how special our league is. I mean, it's really rare to get to do what we do, and I couldn't be more blessed and thankful for everything that's happened to me and my wife and our kids and our career.
Finally, when Tom Brady announced his retirement for a window there, you were the oldest player in the National Football League. Now that he's announced he's coming back, is there any chance that Andrew Whitworth, God forbid, there's an injury to a Rams offensive lineman and Sean McVay and rings up Andrew Whitworth? Any chance that Big Whit could make a return to the National Football League?
You never know. Again, just like Kobe, I'll never say no. You know, if I'm feeling pretty good next fall and somebody, you know, and the Rams need me, you know, we'll see what happens. And you never know. They might let me go and I might be, you know, toting those stripes again. You never know what happens, Lap. Hey, don't ever, you know, say never. So,
oh, man, let's break that news.
Great example of that.
Let's break that news. Andrew Whitworth coming back to Cincinnati. Run it back in Cincinnati. Big Whit at the tackle position. That would be stronger than new rope, man. The body's feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I feel good, man. I'm just working out and trying to stay in shape and enjoy being around the kids and watching them play a little baseball right now. So, and my daughter Catherine's playing softball, so we're busy.
Oh, I bet you do have some athletes, don't you?
Yeah, they enjoy it. They're having fun.
That's awesome. Can't thank you enough. Congratulations once again on all your achievements. And, man, it's an incredible career, my man. There's, in my mind, you got to be putting a gold jacket on at some point in time here. It's definitely Hall of Fame worthy, Whit. And
man, thank you so much.
You are a hell of a player, and like I said, hell of a human being. God bless you, sir.
Hey, thank you.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Breaks? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right. You know,
gotta get that body right. That's right. Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.